of the infinite self. Move towards understanding, we will reflect ourselves. Reflecting, understanding, reflecting, understanding. Yes, we're on the team. I'm in you and you're in me. Compassion. Just like everyone, we're doing the best we can. With what we have, the time we have, stay on his path. Go deeper. Go deeper, be kinder. I'm with you and you're with me, reflecting understanding. I'm in you and you're with me, compassion. I'm with you
and welcome to the Sunday celebrations here for the Centers of Spiritual Living Denver. We are a loving and prospering community here in the heart of Capitol Hill and online. 2021 has continued to be an interesting year, to say the least. We know that with everything going on, life can feel overwhelming. Here at CSL Denver, we want you to know that we are here for you. Please know that our practitioners are available for prayer work with you. Our names and phone numbers are on the website at www.csldenver.org. Or if you have a prayer request, please email it to info@csldenver.org. Reverend Elzia, along with all of our guest speakers, all of our practitioners, our music and service coordinators want you to know how truly grateful we are for your online support. Thank you for watching our Sunday services, attending our online workshops and events, and providing financial support so that we can keep our virtual doors open. We love you all and know we'll be seeing you in person in the right and perfect time. And now, we'll continue to meet online until further notice. If you're interested in upcoming events and information, we send out weekly newsletters. Please go to www.csldenver.org and sign up for our newsletters. We only send out one per week. Or send an email to info@csldenver.org and request to be put on our mailing list. This week, we are having our usual Zoom fellowship right after service. If you haven't already received an email this morning, please send an email to info@csldenver.org to request a Zoom invitation. Please join us. We would love to say hi and catch up with you. That's it for the announcements this Sunday. Again, thank you for tuning in, and now back to our service.
When we walk in the light, we'll walk with God. With God we'll walk closely, won't lose sight of His love. You are the light, so shine before all, that all can see the good of it all. 'Cause in the light is truth, pure and beautiful. Open your eyes and open your soul. I can see the light shining down on me, brings me hope and love forever. I can see the light shining down on me, brings me home with love forever. Take the highest road with all you can be, and if it's cloudy you'll be able to see. Shine on like the sun, and all will be bright if we join as one. 'Cause in the light is truth, pure and beautiful. So open your eyes and open your soul. I can see the light shining down on me, brings me home with love forever, ever, ever, ever. I can see the light shining down on me, brings me home with love forever.
Thank you, Freddie. Beautiful song. I'm Alice Nutter, a practitioner here at CSL Denver, and I invite you to open up to our invocation this morning. So if you're comfortable, just lean back in your seat and close your eyes and take in a deep breath. And just release all that it took to get here this morning. Just knowing that we are all in the right place and the right time, knowing that Spirit is here, guiding us, leading us, loving us, most of all, loving us. And knowing the truth of who each one of us is. And as we move into this service, knowing that the words that Reverend Elzia shares with us, the music from Freddy, the words that I have, and just the whole production of this service is always for the highest good of all. And so as we move into this service, knowing that we are all so truly blessed, I am so grateful for everybody who chooses to watch us, either right now, right here, or later on in the week, or whenever, just knowing that we are all so truly blessed. And so from that place of gratitude, I release this into that one mind, that one heart, knowing that all is well, and it is so, and so it is. And our reading this morning is from the book, This Thing Called You by Dr. Ernest Holmes, and this is from chapter 12. You are an eternal being now on the pathway of endless unfoldment, never less, but always more yourself. Life is not static. It is forever dynamic, forever creating. Not something done and finished, but something alive, awake, and aware. There is something within you that sings the song of eternity. Listen to it. There is an eternal springtime of your soul. Always rising but never setting is the sun of your destiny. Commune with the invisible presence within you until there comes a certainty which is beyond hope, something which enables you to see clear-eyed the future as you see the past. You have a silent partner within you whose energy is inexhaustible and whose intelligence is without limit. Your silent partner is more than a subjective or unconscious reaction to life. It is life itself. You must find and maintain a close communion with your true center. Your creative power is not an act of will. It is rather an act of your willingness to believe. And you are believing in something greater than your objective self, something deeper than your subconscious self, something beyond the collective thought of the world. Your creative power comes from the originating spirit itself, which knows no limit, is conditioned by no circumstance, and governed by no law outside of itself. Throw yourself with complete abandon into the all-consuming fire of inward conviction. Try to feel such a close union with this invisible presence that it becomes to you as an infinite person, not a person separated from you, but the person operating through you. And so I invite you to close your eyes and take in this affirmation that I'm sharing. I know that the divine spirit is operating through me now. I know that I am not limited by anything that has happened or by anything that is now happening. I am entering into an entirely new set of conditions and circumstances. That which has no limit is flowing through my consciousness into action. I am guided by the same intelligence and inspired by the same imagination which scatters the moonbeams across the waves and holds the forces of nature in its grasp. And so it is. And now back to Freddy.
Breathe in the view and honor with gratitude. I said breathe. Take a moment and see the truth. Always get the view from the top. Leading with an attitude that's positive and with love. See things creatively, divinely. I never stop. Hear the choir, higher. True desire, it's air that I see. Come on, breathe in the Take a moment and see the truth. It's time to take a few, appreciate what's given from God, and face those problems with a heart that's shielded by love. Oh, hear the choir, higher, love, desire, it's air that I see. Come on, breathe in the view and honor with gratitude. I said breathe, take a moment and see the truth. Come on, breathe in the view and honor with gratitude. I said breathe, take a moment and see the truth. I'll breathe in the view and honor with gratitude. I said breathe, take a moment and see the truth. Breathe.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to CSL Denver, a place, a space, and a face of love. A community teaching universal ancient wisdom, applying it to principles that will empower our lives and the lives of others to raise our vibrations to the level of the divine. I want to thank you, Freddie, for that song, for that deep breath. I had to take one this morning, and you know, the time changed last night, and I was in one time zone last night, woke up in another one, and realized I had some difficulties I had to deal with. But this whole idea of the view from the top, or the view from here, allowed me to take that breath and get recentered and to allow myself to be grounded in the now. And so as we begin this month of November, month of normal gratitude and upliftment and introspection of who and what we are and the journey we have come so far, we speak about the idea of taking a moment and breathing in the view. Just taking it in and allowing it to elevate our whole being. And so as we begin to look at this month of November, which is the month of Thanksgiving and gratitude, we want to start this series off about just taking in the view from here. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard this story. There's a story, kind of a interesting story, that a group of people, kind of a science fiction thing, they woke up one morning and found themselves in a foreign land. And they were utterly lost and confused, and they had no idea of what was going on. They realized that they were in this beautiful seaside town where you had vast vistas of ocean and towering mountains with beautiful trees and flowers, and it was a marvelous place as they woke up into a new state of awareness. But they were still lost. They still did not have a good understanding of what they were into or where they were. And so the elders, or the wisdom keepers of the group, suggested, hey, let's climb up this highest mountain peak and let's get a lay of the land. Let's kind of figure out, maybe we got disoriented or something. So let's go do that. And so they begin the journey up the side of the mountain. It was an arduous journey. There were many pitfalls and triumphs. But once they reached the top and everyone was there and gave honor to everyone's individual journey as well as the collective journey, they were astonished by the view. That view that gave them a panoramic vision of everything. And they started at that moment to say, right here, take a breath. Which means to take your time, take it in, understand the journey, and find yourself when you appear to be lost. That's what it means to take in the breath, take in the view. And it boils down to, in my mind, the one thing that stands out, that is the power of perception. The power of perception. Because you see, once we have a real powerful perception movement, everything else takes its own place. You know, we talk a lot about doing things. You know, I sometimes have problems with this whole statement that comes up sometimes, I'm a human being and not a human doing. But I think this kind of gave me a better perspective, or a different perspective, is that we always trying to do things, or often we are, to make things better or to improve ourselves or a situation. But in actuality, when you look back over your life and your challenges and your triumphs, I would tend to bet that 8 times out of 10, the thing that really moved you beyond the point was something that changed your state of consciousness. And out of that state of consciousness change, everything else fell into place. Everything else fell into place. And so that's where we find ourselves today. We find ourselves after this journey to get to the mountaintop. We've gone through an arduous last 2 years with the COVID pandemic and economic changes and personal changes of how we unfold and gain life view. Now, that perspective should give us a way of changing our consciousness. And so as we get to the mountaintop and we breathe in the view and we take it in, I think there are 3 things that we must reflect and embody as we continue this journey and taking in this view. Now, the first point that I want to speak to on this is, oftentimes, I know for me, I'm not going to put this on nobody else, you know, we live in this success, completion-oriented world. So we go out, we do a thing, we achieve it, and then the next thing we want to do, all right, what's the next mountain to conquer? What's the next thing? And we don't take time to reflect on the journey that we've just taken. We don't take the time to think about how amazing it was for us to move up this mountain or to overcome this thing. And now that we've been doing it in a group, we have to look at it in a twofold manner. We look at it from the growth of the community that we had together and the experience of traveling this path, and we look at it from our individual selves. You know, last month we had that theme of we go further together. Well, this capsulizes that. It gives us the opportunity to say, there were some times that I needed a hand up. Somebody had to pull me up coming up the mountain because I couldn't take no more steps. So we begin to put that in perspective. We take time to reflect. And ultimately, when we're taking this time to reflect and respect the journey, we must take time and have the perception and understanding of what has shifted as a result of this journey. What has shifted as a result of this journey when we take time to reflect. And so the 2 things that come to mind for me that really sinks this in is when you take time to reflect, or when I take time to reflect, and I would suggest and invite you to do the same thing, you take inventory. If you've gone on a long journey, if we have some hikers out there or some journey travelers, you pack your pack and you take the journey. And then when you get to a resting point, the first thing you do is you take inventory. How much water I got? Are my batteries still good for light at dark? How are my shoes and my socks doing? Right. And then from that inventory, you learn and grow from that moment and how to continue the journey. And then the second thing is, this gives us an opportunity when we take time to reflect. It gives us an opportunity to ask better questions, to look at things differently. And I'd like to share this quote here that I think kind of helps put that in perspective. It says, "The history of man is a record of the awakening of the self to the self, the emergence of the universal spirit through the individual mind." And that's for Ernest Holmes, Living Without Fear. And I would suggest, after the travels we've just taken, not that we don't fear, but we should be comfortable with fear now a little bit. We should know how to move through that so we can get to the vantage point of taking the breath and going within and looking at how we have made it over, as they say. And so often as we're doing this and we're going within and we're looking, sometimes people look at outcomes, or they attune themselves more to doctrine or behaviors or a certain convention, as opposed to looking at the transformation of ourselves and understanding our place in the world. That's what this journey ultimately is about, is that as we begin to take in this view and take the breath and take time to reflect on what we've just gone through in this month of Thanksgiving, in this month of grace and mercy, we often forget about the behaviors that we think brought us somewhere, when really it was the change in consciousness. And so the question becomes, what do you see and hear from this vantage point? Where do you find yourself in this new picture? That is the ultimate question. We've gone through what we've gone through. We've arrived to this point where we are now. The next question, as we take this time to reflect, what have you learned from the view? How do you utilize it? And how do you place yourself in it? And so when we take that view, that's just the second thing. But first we've got there, we've taken time to reflect. Now we take in the view. We breathe in the view. And we take this moment to appreciate and honor what has gone before us. We honor those who didn't complete the journey, and we give them oh so much respect and grace and praise for what they've taught us and helped us on this way. And then we begin to give thanks and express gratitude and breathe in this shift in consciousness, because we know it could have been me that didn't make it to this part of the journey. It could have been you that didn't make it. So we take in this breath and we give gratitude and appreciation, and then we begin to shift and find ourselves into behaviors of building empathy. And we begin, as the saying goes, we look at the road less traveled, but it's the one that we just traveled. Nobody would set out on their own to take the journey we've gone through in the last couple of years. But we've done it, and we've gotten here, and we honor those who came with us and didn't make it. And now we're at the point where we take it all in and we give gratitude and empathy, and we begin to add dimensions of life that we had not seen before. This saying right here from Eric Butterworth, I think, is very powerful. It said, it is a powerful insight to live by, this taking in the view, this taking the breath. Always get the view from the top before you react in negativity to people or conditions or things. Take a moment to lift your eyes unto the hills. Contemplate all the changes, challenging experience from the highest possible point of view. From the highest possible point of view. Because when we do that, now we can make better decisions. Now we can begin to allow things to shift. And to do that, we step into the ultimate calling, I think, for each and every one is to be fully present in the moment. Fully present in the moment. Marcel Proust said this: the real voyage of discovery consists not in seeing new lands, but in seeing with new eyes. In seeing with new eyes. And as we think about this, I want to play a little guessing game with the congregation today. I'm going to bring up a couple of pictures, and I want you to just in your mind, and then you can type it in the chat and tell me what you see. Tell me what you see in this perspective of newness, of looking at new dimensions. All right, everybody ready and willing? Okay, here we go. Here's the first one. Can you see that? Can you see what's presented there? New dimensions, new ways of looking at things. And then how about this one? How about this one? Do you see the depth and the perception that this brings? Now, I don't know if you got a chance. I know they was up pretty quick and everything, but that first one, and I'm going to bring it back up and just spill the beans, so to speak. The first one here, you see there is two images, one of a lion or a tiger or a pantheress on the side, on the left-hand side if you're looking, and on the other side you see a monkey hanging from a tree. Two different perspectives in one dimension there, that as you shift your consciousness, you begin to see it. And in this one, we see a man's face, but if you look closely, you see right there in the center, next to on the left side of the tree, you see a woman sitting there looking at a cityscape. She's kind of looking down and taking in the view. And that's what we're being asked to do today. We're being asked to see things in a different perspective. But to do that, we must be fully present. We must be fully present. And as we continue this journey, we must remember to not only take in the view, but to do that and to benefit from all the new dimensionalities of life and to build this empathy and all that's needed as we rest at this moment is to be fully present. Because once we do that and we take that in, this third point steps into view. So first we take time to reflect. And we get ourselves in order and we take inventory and we figure out what we need to learn and so forth. Then we move forward and just say, okay, let's take in the view. Let's relax for a minute. Let's look at the different dimensions of life that we've stepped into. Let's build some empathy. And then last but not least, we understand that we're on a continuous journey. That we're on this continual upward spiral of evolution. This way of lifting our consciousness to a higher vantage point, which will inevitably bring our bodily actions, our day-to-day behaviors in line with that vision. Because the clearer we can see the truth, the more apt we are to align ourselves with that. And so, we had this point here by Dr. Holmes, discovering a richer life through the continual emergence of the creative principle. Any last finality proves to be but the beginning of a new creative series. This eternal spiral, finding its base in the everlasting reality, will never cease to emerge. Never cease to emerge. So as we begin to be present and take in that breath and take in all these things that has happened on this journey, one of the points that really stand out is a continual journey. Because remember, in the story, the elders took everyone up to the top of the mountain to get perspective of where they are, because they were kind of lost. But now that they understand where they are, and everybody can see their different vantage points and their specific ways of being in the world, they got to go back down the mountain now. They have to go back and do the continual journey to find their places in this beautiful land that we live in. This beautiful conglomerate of people and things and animals and this interrelationship, this symbiotic relationship between all things. And so when we can do that, when we can have that kind of effect, and the world can have that kind of effect on us, we can move beyond any challenges. We can move beyond any goals that may seem hampering at the moment. And so the ultimate goal in life does not mean that we shall arrive at a spiritual destination where everything is static or inactive. That which is our present moment of understanding, that we will continue on and on forever. And that's what we are doing when we take in this breath. We are preparing ourselves for the next leg of the journey. And so in closing, I'd like to share this quote by Christian Larson that says, "This is our purpose, to live the purest, the largest, the fairest, the most useful, the most beautiful, and the most spiritual life possible, just for the day. To be our very best here and now, with no desire to outshine other beings, but simply to be all that we are in divine being now." And that's the goal. The goal is to be all that we can be. And as we come together in this symbiotic relationship and we take in this view, we all find our place. We all know that everybody has a part. And I don't need to be in a competition, and you don't need to be in competition. And if you are just a competitive person, then I would say just be in competition with yourself. How you gonna be better? How I'm gonna be better? Because we're each unique individual characters that are waiting to blossom. And so as we just close out and get ready to go into prayer and share our call to action and affirmation for this week, I think Ralph Waldo Emerson made this statement. He said, "Prayer is the contemplation of the facts of life from a higher point of view." I'm going to read that again. Prayer is the contemplation of the facts of life from the highest point of view. And so when we get to that mountaintop, when we take in that breath and breathe it in, we can at that moment say an earnest prayer, because we have a better view. We know what life is made of. We know what journeys are asking us. And so we can pray a complete prayer, an honest prayer, prayer of celebration, prayer of thanksgiving, upliftment, overcomement. Doesn't matter, because we can see panoramically. And so as we step into this week, as always, we have a call to action. And this week's call to action is this: explore what it takes and what it means to look beyond appearances in all situations and seek the spiritual truth of what is before us. Seek the spiritual truth that is before us. So as we take this view in, how do we begin to interact more? How do we begin to be more loving, more supportive, more active in creating this world that works for everyone? Because you remember, one of our vision statements is this. That is, we seek the evolution of each individual to transform into their greatest magnificent self. And that's what we do at this vantage point. We begin to do that and take charge. And so our affirmation for this week as we move forward is, I lift my eyes to the highest and grandest view of life. I lift to the highest and grandest view of life. And so as we do that, we move forward with confidence, assurance, and with complete trust, knowing that God is on our side and we are ready, willing, and able to take the journey. Let us pray. So if we just take this moment to breathe in the point of where we are, the idea of what we are and what God is, and how we begin to travel this road. We just allow this breath to awaken every aspect of our being. We allow this view to expand our horizons and to give us different vantage points. But the main vantage points that I would like to open up with today is that God is all there is. And we are different aspects and different vantage points of this panoramic view of a divine intelligence, a creative source, a merciful and gracious God that has allowed each and every one of us to enjoy this view. And I know that each and every one of us are awakening to that idea right now, that we are emanations of the Most High God and that we are moving forward with pure view and confidence. And in that understanding and in that confidence, we understand that together we are stronger than by ourselves. And so we move forward in that light, giving thanks and grace and gratitude. And so with that, I declare right here, right now, that today, each and every one of us will begin to feel a new presence in our lives, a new presence in the world of where God has said, go forth and be creative. You have the vision, you have the understanding, you have the tools and resources to be the caretaker, if you will, of this planet, of this universe, in a loving and gorgeous and gracious way, because you understand that you are it and it is you. That's what that view provides us. And so with that understanding of the inner relationships between all things, we give thanks. We give thanks for every small thing and every grand thing, every good thing and so-called bad thing, knowing that it all represents the whole and serves the purpose. And it's our job to just embrace it. And so with that thanks, with that understanding, and with that vision from the top, I just released this prayer knowing that all is well, that God is good, and there is absolutely no place in the universe where God is not waiting, hoping, listening, encouraging each and every one of us to be all that we can be. And so I just released this knowing that it is so, it is already done, and that we'll each embraced it in our hearts, mind, and soul. And so it is. Amen, amen, and amen. And so I trust and hope that everyone can walk away today with something, one little thing that we can reflect on this week about how we can engage life better, how we can engage each other better, and take in this view and this part of the journey as where we are. And so now it's that time of conscious and gracious giving, the offertory, where we first and foremost want to thank each and every one of you for your blessings and your grace and your givings to the CSL Denver community. Whether it's in your time, treasure, or talents, we are graciously happy to have you here and support our organization. If you look across the bottom of the screen, you'll see there are instructions on the different ways you can give. You can go to our CSLdenver.org website and hit the donate button. You can text by phone on 844-455-40918, or just send a check or money order to the P.O. Box. But however you do it, we encourage you to continue to support us, and we graciously thank you. And so we also are tied in with Amazon Prime and King Supers to share your givings there as well. So now, if you feel comfortable, you can take your tithe or place your hand over your heart to just anchor in this affirmation that this perfect gift is spirit and form, circulating and blessing all that it touches. Freely I give, and joyously I receive, and so it is. Amen. Peace and blessings.
Thank you, Reverend Elzia. Beautiful talk.
Thank you.
So here at CSL Denver, we want you to know that we are here for you to celebrate or hold space for you. So please know that our practitioners are available for prayer work with you. We would love to pray with you for celebrations or challenges. Our names and phone numbers are on our website at www.csldenver.org. Or if you have a prayer request, please email it to info@csldenver.org. It is always treated very confidentially. And as mentioned at the beginning of the service, we are having our usual virtual fellowship on Zoom this morning. We would love for you to come join us at fellowship and let us know how you're doing. If you did not receive the Zoom invitation earlier this morning, please send an email to info@csldenver.org and mention fellowship, and we'll send you a Zoom invitation right away. And mark your calendars on November 21st, right after our Sunday service at 11 a.m., we invite you to attend a workshop, The Golden Thread of Gratitude. Rumi Engineer, a practitioner here at CSL Denver, will have an interactive workshop on what is gratitude and how it works in our lives. Through the ages and most religions, great minds have stressed the importance of gratitude. As the mystic Meister Eckhart said, if the only prayer you say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. Life isn't about what we want, it's about what we have. Always be grateful. This workshop will be online by Zoom, and we ask for a love offering to CSL Denver, but nobody is ever turned away, so please join us. We are hoping that we can get back together soon in person, and as soon as our building opens up, we will. In the meantime, we are planning some classes and events like this workshop with Rumi. So if you're not on our mailing list already, please send an email to info@csldenver.org and ask to be put on our mailing list. We promise to only send one email a week letting you know what's going on. And always go over to New Thought Media Network. They have just all kinds of programs and music and different practitioners and ministers through the New Thought organizations, and just it's very uplifting, and it's a great place to spend your time. And they're on Facebook and on YouTube. So meanwhile, we hope that you have a wonderful week. We affirm right here and right now that 2021 is blessed. We're coming into the end we're on the back stretch. So it's blessed and perfect in all that it is. We love you. We miss you. Please take care of yourselves. And let's close out with more music from Freddy Rodriguez.
Can we listen to that one small voice? Can we listen? Listen to your heart. Can we listen to that one small voice? Listen to your heart, to your heart, to your heart. It's a journey. It begins with a step in times of uncertainty. Wisdom comes from within, clarity. You know we're not alone or lost. Listen to your heart and to God, to your heart. Can we listen to that one small voice? Can we listen? Listen to your heart. Can we listen? Yeah, to that one small voice. Listen to your heart, to your heart, to your heart. Faith like oil takes the friction out of life. Take the action. Pray every night, aligned with spirits. Well, you know the reason why. And listen to your heart and to God, to your heart. Can we listen to the one small voice? Can we listen? Listen to your heart. Can we listen to the one small voice? Listen to your heart, to your heart, to your heart. God is gonna guide you. God is gonna guide you. Love will always find you. Love will always find you. God will always guide you. God will always guide you. Love is on beside you. Love is on beside you. Can we listen to that one small voice? Can we listen? Listen to Can we listen to the one small voice? Can we listen? Listen to your heart. Can we listen? Yeah, to that one small voice. Listen to your heart, to your heart, to your heart. All time. Can we listen to the one small voice? Can we listen? Listen to your heart. Can we listen to the one small voice? Listen to your heart, to your heart, to your heart.
New Thought Media Network is on the rise. We're looking to grow with you. Do you have technical media experience? Or perhaps a desire to learn? Are you willing to volunteer your precious time and attention? We share this message to benefit all. If you possess a computer with a camera and a microphone, we will share our knowledge with you. Behind the scenes or being the star, let us bless our one. Contact us at info@ntmedia.org.